Hello there, Courtney Dillon at CourtneyDillon.com.
Hi.
Hello, Eric.
Erik says, "Hi, Mom, I love you." And he's walking in, and well, we have special guests today. He says he brought them in for me, so very surprising.
Yeah, and we're going to talk to them in a moment. Today was a very difficult day for me because this is the day that Erik pulled the trigger, so to speak, and well, figuratively too. I mean, literally. And so I may have a little low energy today because of that. So,
Okay.
but it was interesting because Michelle Gray sent something to Paula because we had this planned meeting with a person that wants to do a movie on our story, a feature film. Mm-hmm. And it's odd that it was the day before his death that this was all, the anniversary of the death. So Michelle said, "I was thinking of you yesterday." This is for Paula. "We must have been on the same wavelength. There are no coincidences. October 6th was the day he took his life. This is very much aligned by spirit and the universe. It also is the release of karmic energy. It will be 13 years tomorrow." Oh my God, seems like yesterday though. "There are 13 moon cycles per year. This represents the cycle ending now." God, I hope so. "There has been so much pain, grief, and suffering. Also, there's been healing and acceptance, the full cycle. Mm-hmm. What Erik tells me is that this is a very big accomplishment of a human to take the cycle of death and creating new beginnings, healing, helping others. Erik's 13 years in spirit have been connected to many contracts of other souls. I could go on as there is so much. What an ultimate synchronicity."
Yeah, he's saying that he helped orchestrate the October 5th date so it could be a new beginning.
Okay.
And a new positive beginning, a new positive anniversary for you.
Oh, I hope so. All right, so let's just get on with our special guest. Would you like to introduce them, Erik?
Yes, and I think he brought them in because obviously he knows about today, and he wanted there to be something a little bit joyful and hopeful. So I didn't actually even have any idea. I was still channeling LORETTA LYNN. She's here. That's until awesome. About what I text you a half an hour ago, maybe, or an hour ago. I don't know. But she started, I just sat down for a second after my readings, and she came right in with Erik. And there's a man next to him, and he calls himself Hank. And I couldn't figure out who it was for a second, but then he said Hank Williams, and so that's a friend. Yeah, so he isn't here to do the talking. He says she's going to talk mostly, but he's here for support and just to say hi. But he'll answer questions too if you want to talk to him. So. Yeah.
Thank you, Loretta, and thank you, Hank. So where can we begin? You've got the floor. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, she says, "Thank you. Thank you, ma'am, for having me here today. It is my great honor to speak with you. I am grateful and see the work that your son is doing in the world and the work that you are doing in the world to help many. And I am happy to be here today."
Oh, thank you. So where should we begin? You want to talk about your childhood first, since that's sort of the beginning of things, and then talk about your life?
She says that the first thing, she's really happy. She's just a very happy right now. It's just in a happy soul. She feels so grateful. She's reunited. I have this sense of like her welcoming committee, she calls it, and her tribe of people, she calls them her tribe. She's looking around and she sees all the faces of her loved ones, and there is just a crowd. I'm looking through her eyes right now. Okay, let's find out about her childhood. Most people who know me know about my childhood. I grew up with nothing, yet we had happiness and joy. I am the product of my childhood and my home. I like to tell the stories of my home and the people who surround me, and that the stories of her home. She's like in a really rural area. I think Kentucky.
Okay.
She's in a really rural area, and her songs are, this is where her songs come from. That and heartbreak. She has a lot to say about, a lot to say about heartbreak.
Yeah.
But this is like what made her who she is. It's the fabric, she says, fabric of her soul, the fabric of her being. She looks like she has, I can see a bunch of children running around in a, like, and it doesn't look like they have a lot in terms of like material possessions. They're very poor, she says. But they never wanted for anything. Their parents, her parents, who she's with now, who are part of this welcoming committee, are kind and honorable people, and taught me to live. Like, I can't do her accent. I wish I could do it, because it's like,
well, I probably could.
Yeah, I can't do it. So
I know.
Sorry.
It's nice.
Okay, but it's really, she has a beautiful voice. Kind and honorable people. They taught me to respect others, to love others, and they taught me the value. She's talking about her father and mother. They taught me the value of hard work, working hard to get what you want in life. But she has a very strong work ethic. She's a hard worker.
Yeah. So were you raised in any particular religion?
My mama, my mama read the Bible to us every night. And I can see an image of her at a church. It looks like a very simple just structure. It's not like an ornate church. It's just a one room, simple country church. And she's standing there singing songs, singing hymns. So yes, she looks like she grew up, it looks like Baptist is what she's saying.
It's probably or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And she does know the Bible. She's showing me in her heart. She has a lot of the Bible stored in her heart. Like she would commit it to memory.
Yeah.
So,
given that part of your upbringing, what was your belief about what would happen to you after you died?
She says, I did and continue to have strong faith in God. I see God differently and more expansively now than I did when I walked on the earth. I see God. She's showing me her understanding of what God is. I mean, if we can even try to understand, right, is more expansive now. It feels more like she just felt, but she always believed in God.
Yeah.
And it was what her faith in God carried me through many difficult times in my life. And the faith keeps her moving forward. So she has a strong faith in God.
Okay. What was your transition like?
Peaceful. She laughs. She's laughing because it's just funny. She's a funny lady because she's like really relieved to be out of her body. Like, thank God. Yeah. Like just, we're going to go through her transition. She's going to take me through it in a second. But what she shows me is just this like, thank God. And she shows up today and she's really like stunning. She's a stunning woman. She has brown, really beautiful hair, and she's probably in her 30s. So she's like showing up, young again.
Coming back to the odometer a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And she smiles about that. Her transition, she's going to take me through it. Okay. So there's light, and there's a room. She's walking through what looks like a tunnel, or it's like a tunnel, but then there's these trees, or like trees on each side, and the trees really reminded her of home. And so she felt really like it's very green, it's very lush, and it reminded her of home. Of the mountains of home, and like the landscape.
Okay.
Yeah. And if they don't feel like pine, they're more like, I don't know, whatever's in sort of that region of the country, that kind of, and she's walking through this tunnel, and on the other side of the tunnel, she sees this light. And then when the light sort of fades, she sees all her family standing there, and all her friends. She has like probably 50 people standing there.
Wow.
And so
go ahead.
Her parents, her mom and dad, she has a child, looks like a son who's crossed over. There may be another child. I'm not sure who she's showing me. Maybe one, I'm not sure. She's showing me lots of her friends are her family, she says also.
Yeah.
She is very connected with music. It's how her heart and her soul communicate, and she has a lot of friends. I mean, it's almost like she just gathered friends in her life. Like everybody would be a friend, if that makes sense.
She didn't know a stranger.
No. Oh yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right.
That is so cool. So, so the first people you met were your parents? Is that accurate to say?
She walks in and it's a whole room. So she sees her parents, but yes. She does see her.
You communicated with?
Her mother.
Oh.
And her father too.
Okay, tell me about that conversation.
There's a lot of hugs. There's laughter from the other side of the room. So she wants to tell people that dying can be joyful.
Yeah.
It can be. Because she's so happy right now. She's just very, very happy.
Well, that's not to take away from the value of the human experience on Earth, of course.
No, that's true. But she says, frankly, I was ready to go.
Oh,
it was her time.
You were like
90s.
Wow.
90, wow. Yeah, something. I see 93, but it could be a little bit more or less.
Okay.
Old.
Yeah.
Yeah. She talked with her son. That's her son is a big part of this conversation too.
Okay.
It feels like when he's on Earth, he dies suddenly or unexpectedly. It feels like a sudden death of some sort, and that causes her pain throughout her life. She feels she relates in some ways to your, and she's sorry for your loss.
Thank you. And I'm sorry for yours, but you're together again. So I look forward to that too.
She talks to her father about her life, and they're like, what's funny is you think it will be like serious or something like that, but they're actually telling jokes. Like they're
casual, fun.
Yeah, exactly. They're like laughing back and forth and telling jokes.
Oh.
And she's with some brothers and sisters. I mean, she has a whole group over here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, Crystal Gale, that's your sister, right? And I think
yes, ma'am.
How was y'all's relationship?
She smiles. She says, it was very good. Every relationship, sibling. So has a lot of siblings.
Okay.
I don't know how many, but a lot, like
take a look.
A gaggle here. She is, they have great love for one another.
Yeah.
You know, despite differences, the family unit is very close, and they have a lot of love for one another. That's what she will say. Nice. Yeah. There are challenges that arise with siblings.
Of course. I know.
But she's like showing me her heart, that she just really loves her brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
She has a lot of love for people in general. Is what I feel. There's a way in which she conveys her love through her heart, and her aim, she says, is to convey her love for others through her music. Even if they're just picking up on the energy, even if the song's not about love, this is like her soul gift to the world, if that makes sense.
Yeah, we're going to talk more about your mission. Born in April 14th. That's my Michelle's birthday, my second eldest. 1932 in your case. Butcher Holler in Kentucky. That's funny. And you died in Tennessee. So you had several children: Patsy Lynn, Jack Benny Lynn, Betty Sue Lynn, Ernest Ray Lynn, Sissy Lynn, and Peggy Lynn. Your siblings: Crystal Gale, Peggy Sue, Beth Ruth Webb, Herman Webb, J. Lee Webb, Melvin Webb. Oh, got to click on more. There's a lot of them.
There's a lot.
There's a lot.
And she has, so one of her daughters is there too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
which one? I don't know which one, but one of her daughters is there with her.
Okay.
She's showing me an image of a daughter and then a son. So I think she has two children crossed over.
Oh, all right. So what sibling did you get along with the most?
Betty Sue.
Okay. Yeah. Betty Ruth, Peggy Sue, or Betty?
Wait, hold on. Why did I get it wrong? 1 second.
Peggy Sue or
Peggy Sue? Peggy Sue. She's correcting me. Yeah.
Peggy Sue. Yeah. All right.
But you know what? It doesn't feel like there's not a lot of time in this family. To fight. Yeah. Everybody's working, and everybody has a job all the time. I mean, really, like working, like even the kids are working. Yeah. This is not a lot of time. I mean, yes, there's fighting, there's disagreements, but her mother is a beautiful, kind, loving mother, but also she kind of strict. Like you're not gonna, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that is Clara Marie Ramey Webb, and your daddy Melvin Webb, and you were married to Oliver Lynn, married from 1948 to 1996.
She said, oh my gosh, she said, well, that's a karmic relationship.
Oh, really? Tell me about it.
Well, it looks like a lot of her music, I've just been listening to some stuff because she had me listen to it. A lot of her music is about her marriage.
Oh, okay.
And so if you take time to listen to her music today, you will understand the dynamics of our relationship. And she has kind of a smile. Not easy. I married very young. Was a mother very young.
Wow.
Feels like teen or early 20s at the no, maybe teen mother.
Yeah.
Wow. And it looks like her husband is gone a lot, and when he's there, he does seem like he's also drinking at a lot, quite a bit. And she says he has a wandering eye.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting because it says here, gosh, married to Oliver Vanetta Doolittle Lynn. Doolittle is funny. For almost 50 years until her husband died at the age of 69. In her 2002 autobiography, Still Woman Enough, and in an interview with CBS News the same year, she recounted that her husband cheated on her regularly and once left her while she was giving birth.
Exactly.
Oh,
yeah. Wandering eye is
so. Why did you stay with him?
The children.
Yeah.
In part, and also the times she was living in.
Yeah.
She felt she had a duty to her children, and she did because of, I mean, it was like, how do I explain this? It wasn't like that she would necessarily go to church in her adult years, but it's like since she grew up with that, she has a strong faith, value around marriage, and that's kind of important to her. And so she didn't really believe in divorce necessarily.
Well, was he a good father?
Yes and no. When he's present,
and not and sober.
Yeah, no, they had to, she's showing me fights, and they have a tumultuous marriage. It's difficult. It's not easy. There is love in this relationship, and there still is. And they are working through some karmic agreements. But it's a difficult marriage. But
what was he like as a father then? I mean, sometimes you think, well, is it better to stay with and fight in front of the children and make that your
she says
role model for a marriage?
Because of my living children, I do not wish to speak ill of their father.
Of course not. All right.
But
you say some good
stuff. When he's good, he's funny.
Oh, okay.
He has, so there's a kindness there. Hard worker. Sometimes this is a challenging person.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. He's crossed over
but
too.
He's had probably a difficult life or other lives, etc. So
she's showing me, it's like we were kids when they got married, they were kids. He comes from also a big family, it's just kind of like they're product of their environment.
I got you. All right.
You can see that now.
Yeah. Nature versus nurture. All right. So
she says she doesn't regret her marriage. She wants to just be clear on that.
Right.
Because a lot of what she came here to, interesting. She's saying that one of the reasons that she chose this difficult relationship was so the possibility of the music, which was her soul's purpose, would come through. So it's like she had to choose challenge. Oh, I got it. Challenge and difficulty and pain. I mean, there's a lot of pain here. This is not, I'm not going to sugarcoat this.
So it gave you material for your songs, basically, right?
Novels. She's showing me novels. Endless. She's laughing. Endless material.
So how was it to meet Doolittle again on the other side after you crossed over?
Dewey.
Okay.
They laugh. They understand one another. I know him better than he knows himself in some ways. So they have work to do, but she doesn't hold resentment in her heart.
Okay, good.
Because she can see, and she's not big on resentment or holding on to the past. She likes to just move on.
I mean, even when you were on the earth?
Yes, that's exactly right. She's the kind of person that if something happens, to forgive and move on.
Oh, so tell me more about your personality as Loretta Lynn.
We all have our blind spots.
Mm-hmm.
But I consider myself a kind person, a hard worker, and a pioneer. Yeah. In what I came here to do. And she's proud of that, actually.
You should be.
Yeah.
Everybody loves your song. One of my first boyfriends was totally in love with Crystal Gale. Your sister. Quite jealous. But yeah, love that hair. Oh my
God. She is beautiful, she's saying. She is very beautiful.
As are you. All right, so what is your favorite song that you've created, sung, etc.?
There's a song about, it's a biographical song.
Yeah.
And it's about her life and growing up, and that's her favorite song. It's called
Coal Miner's Daughter?
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
Because it's her story, and she came here to be a voice for the people actually in this region, and be tell her story and storytelling. There's an aspect of storytelling here that's really important.
Sounds like it.
The tradition of storytelling.